On the peaceful sands of Long Island's Gilgo Beach, a frightening mystery was unearthed. A merciless serial killer transformed the tranquil beach into a secret graveyard. Our tale, He Turned the Shores into a Cemetery, takes you on a journey through this chilling, real-life horror. At Gilgo Beach, a monster lurked, taking lives without a second thought, leaving a trail of bodies for the police to find. One after another, the victims were discovered, each unveiling a layer of a deeper, more sinister story. And now, we're about to unravel this spine-chilling tale for you. From 1996 to 2011, a really bad guy known as the Long Island serial killer turned the lovely Gilgo Beach into a scary place. He killed up to 18 people, most of whom were sex workers who found their customers on Craigslist. The nightmare began to unfold in December 2010. A young woman named Shannon Gilbert had disappeared earlier that year in May. Her last moments were filled with fear. She made a desperate 911 call saying, "They are trying to kill me." Officer John Malia and his super smart dog Blue were on the case. They'd been looking around the beach area when Shannon was last seen. On a cold day in December, Blue found something buried under a little bit of snow and lots of bushes. It was a sack with a skeleton inside. The skeleton was Melissa Barthelemy, another woman who had gone missing. Melissa's discovery was just the start. Soon the police found the remains of 3 more victims, Maureen Brannard, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello, very close to one another. It was as if the killer had turned the beautiful beach into a hidden graveyard. The horror didn't end there. In 2011, police found part of Jessica Taylor's body along the same stretch of beach. The rest of her body had been found in a town called Manorville 8 years earlier. More sad discoveries followed. A little girl who couldn't be identified, an unknown Asian person, and Valerie Mack. Parts of Valerie's body had also been found in Manorville back in 2000. In Nassau County, police found the remains of 2 more women. One of them had a tattoo of peaches and turned out to be the mother of the unidentified toddler. At first, the police thought there might be 2 killers, because the case of Valerie Mack and Jessica Taylor were similar. But by November 2011, they believed all these terrible crimes were committed by one person from Long Island. A reward was even announced to help catch the bad guy. And as for Shannon Gilbert, the woman whose disappearance started the search, her body was found 19 months later. The cause of her death is still unknown. 4 years after the last body was found, the FBI officially joined the investigation into the Gilgo Beach murders. The move came right after the former police chief, James Burke, was charged with civil rights violations and conspiracy. Burke had resigned in 2015 and was thought to have been blocking the FBI from the case for a long time. He ended up in federal prison in 2016, sentenced for assault and conspiracy. Then, in 2020, the police made a move to engage the public in the investigation. They released images of a belt found at the crime scene. It had the letters HM or WH on it, depending on how you look at the belt. The police think that the killer touched the belt, but it didn't belong to any of the victims. They didn't give much more detail about the belt, like where exactly they found it. Around this time, the police also started using new scientific methods in their investigation. Plus, they launched a website, gilgonews.com, to share updates and get tips about the case. One of the new scientific methods was genetic genealogy. It was a way of using DNA to trace people's family trees. In 2019, someone suggested using this method to identify the unknown victims, and maybe even the killer. A year later, in 2020, one of the unidentified victims was finally given a name. Jane Doe number 6 turned out to be Valerie Mack, who sometimes used the name Melissa Taylor. We understand that your mind may be swirling with questions and the complexity of this story, and it might be puzzling, but hold on tight, because we're about to make everything crystal clear. We'll navigate through this tangled narrative together. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and stay on board with us for more investigations into captivating true crime stories. The media often like to guess who the killer might be. They call him Joe C. They think he's probably a white man, somewhere in his mid-20s to mid-40s. He probably knows the South Shore of Long Island really well and knows where to find burlap sacks, which he used to wrap the bodies. They think he might know a lot about police work, maybe even has some connections to law enforcement. And some think there might be more than one killer. Back in 2017, a prosecutor named Robert Biancavilla had his eye on a man named John Bitrolf. He's a carpenter from Suffolk County, and he had already been convicted of killing 2 sex workers. Biancavilla thought Bitrolf might be linked to the Gilgo Beach Murders, too. There were similarities between his known crimes and the Gilgo Beach case. Bitrolf lived just a few miles away from where 2 of the victims' bodies were found. He was a hunter who enjoyed killing animals, and he was handy with tools that could cut bodies into pieces. Then, in 2023, a new suspect came up, Rex A. Hewerman. He's a 59-year-old architect from Nassau County. Now he's been charged with the murder of 3 of the victims. He's also the main suspect in the death of a 4th. He was linked to the crimes when a witness connected his Chevrolet Avalanche to one of the murders. His phone record showed he'd been in contact with 3 of the victims, and his email account showed he'd been following the investigation online. And they found hair on or near the victims that matched his wife's, though she was out of town when the murders happened. They confirmed the match using DNA from a puzzle box he'd thrown away. This case has had a lot of attention. It's often called the Lisk Case, short for the Long Island serial killer. It's been the subject of documentaries, TV shows, and podcasts, and it's even made its way into song lyrics and independent movies. It's clear that these crimes, as horrifying as they are, have touched a nerve and captivated the public's attention. Indeed, the relentless work of the police shows us that no matter how deep the truth is buried, it will always find a way to surface. Even the most carefully planned crimes meets its destined end. Cases like the Gilgo Beach Murders are not isolated incidents. They're a grim reality that exists all around the world. If you want us to continue unraveling these chilling mysteries and shedding light on the darker corners of our society, please let us know in the comments section below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated on all of our latest content, because as daunting as these narratives may be, they serve as a reminder that justice, though delayed, is never denied. Stay vigilant, stay safe, and until next time.